What's up guys, it's Megan. I hope you're having a magical day. Today, this video is going to be all about mental toughness and different mental strategies that you can utilize while either training or doing any raises in collaboration with all of the wonderful ladies that are part of the Fairy God Runners team, which is being sponsored by Bibbidi, Bobbidi boxes, or their new activewear line, Be by Bibbidi. So please stay tuned if you want to learn strategies not only that are applicable to running but also your life in general, and this is something that I'm really passionate about. So to combine my love of Disney and psychology and all of that, so that's very exciting for me, and I hope that you stay tuned to hear about some of the things that I use for my own mental strategies and how to cope with some of these things that arise during running training. So I think one word or a few words that get thrown around a lot are mindfulness and meditation. So these two words specifically are very, very, very important in terms of mental stamina, mental toughness, mental strength, however you want to phrase it. They are all about being present in this current moment in time. A lot of what anxiety is about is future-based worries or anxieties, and depression tends to relate back to the past of this is what I did wrong, this is what happened, maybe some trauma that happened in the past. Being present in your current day, in your current life, is probably the best thing that you could be. Being able to be mindful of what's around you, be mindful of your body, be mindful of your spirit, all of the energy around you. I know this probably sounds like nonsense to some people, but being able to utilize that mental strength and sort of embrace mindfulness is my number one tip. It has to be. So in terms of using mindfulness and sort of trying to captivate that sense of mindfulness, I do a lot of meditation. In terms of finding meditations, there are so many links that you could find free scripts online. You could do your own sort of free association of meditation. So you could just take some breaths and then meditate on what you like. I like to follow scripts. There are some scripts that are on YouTube that will walk you through. There's guided visualization, there are guided imageries that walk you step by step through the process. And one app that I have found to be so incredibly helpful is the Calm app. And in no way, shape, or form is this sponsored. I really wish that it were. But this app has really, I feel like, changed my life. There are other meditation apps out there. I've also used Headspace, but I just find that the Calm app is more organized, it's easier to use. I just overall enjoy those meditations more. The caveat is that you have to pay for this service. There is a free version. It is limited, so I utilize this app every single day. Whether or not you are a beginner or an expert, or you are just so full of experience with meditation, this app is for everyone. I started, I don't know, 2 years ago doing this, and it's really changed my outlook on life and how I perceive things in current situations or in the moment. So I find it to be very, very helpful. Another thing that provides is something that really, really helped me for preparing for my races, especially the night before. If you guys are not aware, Disney races start at like 5 o'clock in the morning, so you need to go to sleep very early and you need to wake up very, very early. And when I say very early, I think I was up at like 2 o'clock or 2:30 for all of my races, no later than that for the most part. And when you're waking up that early, you need to go to sleep early. I don't know if anyone else has trouble falling asleep, but I definitely do. And this app has 100% helped me. Ironically, I found one person that really, really puts me to sleep in the best way possible. LeBron James, which is so funny because I'm not a basketball person, but LeBron James has this whole series about sort of sports anxiety and sort of taking the pressure off of big moments like that. And I found this right before I was going into the marathon, knowing that it was sort of a sports related event, and I was trying to take the pressure off of myself. And This one meditation was 7 minutes long. Every time I listened to it, I had fallen asleep before it had ended. So that's how quickly it worked. I don't know about you guys. I use this pretty much every night to go to sleep. The cool thing about mindfulness and meditation too is that it basically, like, I'm trying to find a cool word to say it, but it de-ages your brain. Continue to train your brain to do this way of thinking, which is sort of like CBT or cognitive behavioral therapy. But you're training your brain to do these things, which in turn have a positive impact on your brain and its neuroplasticity. And you're just continuing to learn, and therefore more neurons are being fired, and science. So it's a really great thing to incorporate in your daily life, not only in terms of running or preparing for an event or preparing for a presentation or a lecture or whatever it is. It's just a really, really positive thing to incorporate in your life. And another thing I do within this app is something called a body scan. It's something that you could do in 3 minutes. It really helps with feeling grounded. And if you feel anxious or just you don't feel grounded in the day, take the 3 minutes, do the 3-minute body scan. There's 3-minute body scans out on the internet as well. So even if you don't want the app or utilize the app, there are 3-minute or less body scans out on the internet somewhere, whether it's on YouTube or just finding a script and having someone read it to you. Because those things, I swear, they make you feel so grounded. I think that is part of mental strength and mental toughness, is being able to channel meditation and mindfulness within the moment and just not feel overwhelmed by what's happening. Going into the marathon, I went into like a full-blown panic attack because I was doubting myself so much. I was crying on the bus. My chest was hurting. I was so legitimately scared. I turned on LeBron and I turned on my meditation app. Even just listening to the music, they have a whole music section on here, watching the video on here, just trying to put myself in a calm place. It really changes your outlook on things. So I know that I've spent a great deal of time talking about this, but that's only because it is so important to your mental toughness and utilizing mindfulness. And I think that's gonna go into my next point of, there is something super cool. I'm just like very excited about this because it's incorporating things that I like learning about and Disney. So there's something called DBT, which is dialectical behavioral therapy. It's sort of a branch off of CBT, which is cognitive behavioral therapy, which sort of changes your thoughts and your thought processes into something generally more positive. So DBT has 4 modules, and one of them is mindfulness. Another one is distress tolerance. So when we talk about distress tolerance, we're talking about being put in situations that we are uncomfortable with or stressful situations, and just being able to tolerate it. Finding coping skills to tolerate these undelightful situations, which a lot of us find ourselves in a lot of the time. So it's finding these coping skills to do this. And it leads me back to my own experience. There's something within distress tolerance of this module it's called radical acceptance. And for me, this has everything to do with my training because it's about something bad happening, accepting it for what it is and saying, I don't like this, I don't like that it's happening, but I'm gonna deal with it and I'm going to accept it and move on. So I find that this comes with injuries. If you are dealing with an injury, a lot of times you just have to accept it. It's like, I can't change this. Whatever's happening with me or around me in the world, I have control over so many things. I don't have control outside of myself. I don't have control of things out in the world, but I do have control of what I do to heal, and I don't like my injury. I actually hate it, and you could be angry at it. You could be angry for having an injury, you could be angry at however you got hurt or whatever it is. Those are valid feelings. But at the same time, I have to accept it and move on. It's not gonna be the end of the world. So what are ways then that I could deal with this? It goes into this whole like existential view of the world. Like, bad things happen to people. But how do you deal with those bad things, and how do you continue going through the world? Like, wow, this is gonna be a really long video, I'm so sorry. But just going back to tolerating discomfort, being able to trust yourself, saying, oh, I don't like this situation, I can't change it, but I'm going to do my best with the information and the skills and tools that I have to carry on and to push forward. And this is just as much a skill that you need while you're going through the race. A lot of times there are injuries that happen while you're running during a race, while you're on a training run. You can walk, you can, you know, whatever it is, how you deal with it. It's that mental toughness. And people always say that running is really a mental sport. And I think it's building up the tolerance to deal with those stressful situations. So that's another thing that this is so long, I'm so sorry. Another really fun thing that I like to do is listen to audiobooks or podcasts. For me, I try and separate my fun leisure books with books that I have for school or for more research purposes. Clearly I like to do research. It's fun. I like learning new things, which also helps your brain, so keep learning. The more you know. Anyway, I love to listen to things like podcasts or audiobooks. I absolutely love my friend's podcast, Brandy and Dave's podcast called The Disfluencers. My friend Dean from The Live Place also has a podcast called This Happy Place. So if you guys are like Disney fans, there's so many Disney podcasts out there. There's also so many cool audiobooks that you can listen to. I mean, it's totally up to you, whatever genre, but it really helps the time go fast. I also listen to music that sets my pace, but in terms of like preparing yourself and getting yourself ready to do a long run or to do your race, I find listening to other people talk sometimes it's like ASMR, but I don't like ASMR videos. I don't know why, but just listening to something Disney and people talking about Disney really relaxes me. I think it's, you know, to each his own or each their own. Whatever relaxes you. I think it's a lot about self-discovery and how you deal with stress and how you and yourself and your body can utilize some of these skills. Well, I don't know if this is an audiobook. I have found it to be very, very helpful for my own mental capacity, my own mental training through that. It's called Marathoning for Mortals. I have been recommended this book by so many people that in my own personal life I know that have done their own running journeys, but it goes through so many different plans and what you do for food and clothes, and it just really walks you through the whole step of half marathon training or marathon training, and then it has training plans in the back. But it's just been really like gear, it's been cross training, it's been really, really helpful in learning about injuries, the right gear to wear, how to prepare for, oh, that's a whole nother thing, how to prepare for the race and potentially everything that could go wrong during the race and how to be prepared for that. So if you are interested, I will leave a link down in the description for this book. Totally worth buying. You could probably get it at your library too, just to rent and look at it, but I would highly recommend buying this just to take notes in it here too. I think it's like $8 or $9, so a great read. Another thing that is very, very important, that has been very, very important for me in my training and finishing these races, is having a reason to run. A lot of us sign up for these races for a reason. For me, I knew that I was running for my brother. That was enough motivation to keep me going. During the marathon, I was so hot, I was hurt, but I knew that I couldn't stop running because I had to finish for him. So having the motivation to finish for a reason that's bigger than yourself, whether you're running for another person, you're running for a cause, you're doing it through a charity, I feel like you need some entity that's bigger than yourself. Because sometimes if we're just doing it for, you know, which is, it's okay to want to run to lose weight, but I think it needs to be something more than that. I think it needs to be goal driven, and it needs to be something that, like, sure, you're gonna lose weight while you're running and you're training, but I feel like you just need something else, something to get you across the finish line. Which leads to another point, is visualization and goal setting. So visualization for me has been a huge part of my mental training. Going into my races, I said I may not physically be able to complete the mileage, but I knew that mentally I was able to, and that's what was able to get me through the finish line. But while I was training, I would picture myself running through the finish line, running through Epcot, that last lap, and I would listen to Go the Distance, and then, you know, because it was emotional, I would cry. But at the same time, I was like, I'm gonna get these medals, I'm gonna do it, because I had seen the runners the year before do this, and it was just, it was such a good mental image for me to have in my head, and to imagine getting those 6 medals. I would look at pictures on Instagram, I would look at videos of other people and just put myself in their shoes, and how would I feel when I finished the race, how proud I would be when I finished the race. All these things that you could keep in your head, in your mental picture photo book, and things that you know are going to happen when you finish the race. And I feel like a lot of times that was enough motivation for me to get up and to run and to just finish that last mile or finish whatever I was doing. So visualization was a key part for my training. And then also goal setting, knowing what weeks you're going to do what. I have a calendar of, you know, each day, you know, you need to train the mileage, what sort of run you're gonna do, what sort of intervals, the timing requirements or the mileage requirements. So it depends on sort of what training program you're doing, but to have a big calendar as well to set goals. Have goals in your mind when you're training. Like, I want to run a 7-minute mile, which I would never ever do, but throwing it out there, like, have that goal in your mind. Like, you're here to achieve a goal, so just go with the flow. Be in that moment, be mindful of your goals, and visualize what the outcome's gonna be. One final important mental trick or stamina thing for me was doing exercises other than running. This is an important part of your training regardless. So to do cross training, to do strength training, but to give yourself a mental break from running, to give yourself a mental break from the pressure of completing so many miles. Don't be so hard on yourself. If you miss a training run, it's okay. You're gonna make up the miles some other day. But just try and do like the elliptical, things that aren't so hard on your knees. If you're dealing with injury, find exercises or strength training that helps to promote the rehabilitation of those muscles or that part of your body that's injured. But really having things that break up your training, like the elliptical or doing the stationary bike or going for walks or going for hikes or swims or whatever you like to do. I think that's also a really important thing, so it's not so monotonous and you're doing the same thing over and over and over again. And it takes some time to build up that stamina of like, I'm gonna go run and I'm gonna go run. Like, it's not fun for me to run every single day. That's also really bad. Don't run every single day. But doing 3 or 4 runs a week, like, I can't do that. I have to do other exercises which are good for my body. And I think it's a lot about learning what's good for you and what's good for your body and what's good for your own mental toughness. So another thing that I like to do that really helps calm me down is do art. And this is generally more abstract for me, just to sort of release any tension or whatever I have in my body, but it helps to ground me. And it's just something that I like to do. I did this in like 3 minutes, so don't think that art takes a long time. It doesn't have to. It could just be a quick scribble just to get your energy out. But I think that if people did more art, people would be more relaxed. But I think, once again, to each their own. This is what works for me. Another mental strategy just to release some of my tension or some of the thoughts that I've been, building up throughout the day. And watercolors help me to express that a lot of times, but something contained and small like this has been really helpful for me. Guys, so much for watching. I know that this was a rather long video. I felt like I had a lot of information that I wanted to relay to all of you on things that I've learned in the past or things that I use in my current daily life that seem to help or that have promoted my own mental toughness. I'm still working at it every day, but I think slowly but surely I'm taking steps to build that, and with more and more practice you build more and more stamina. So I think just trying to cover a large basis. This is absolutely not everything that you could possibly do. I can't wait to see what the other ladies say. But I also wanted to say that we have our fitness fairy of the month. Woo. A huge congratulations to Nance the fitness fairy, our first fitness fairy. Woo. So when you are entering to be the fitness fairy of the month, you need to be sure to post it into your feed, the picture, so that Bibbidi Bobbidi Boxes and Be by Bibbidi can see it, as well as the fairy god runners for the entire week or entire month. I know a lot of people were posting stories as well. Unfortunately, those don't count as entries, but feel free to like update everyone with what you're doing. But because they disappear after 24 hours, it's hard to keep track of who has entered. But if you would like to enter throughout the next several months, that's how you do it. Post on your feed, tag us. Just show us what you're doing to work on your fitness goals. I'd love to see what people are doing for their mental toughness goals too. I don't know if that's like a thing, but I would love to learn more ideas in how to approach mental toughness and self-care, and that's a huge part of my journey as well. So I'm really looking forward to hearing if you guys have any other cool ideas for me. Yeah. So I know this is a really long video. Please go check out all the other amazing ladies that are in the Fairy God Runners group. Please go check out Be by Bibbidi. That clothing line is amazing. I can't even believe that I get to wear it and that it's available, because I already know a lot of people that have used the coupon code. Even my mom is like, I would like some more, please. So thank you guys so much for watching. I hope this video provided some helpful and resourceful information. Thank you guys for watching. I hope you have a wonderful rest of your day, and I will see you all real soon. Bye.